So this is my Smackdown review. The first Smackdown, which is back to 2 hours, and I would say it was a middle of the road show. I would give it a 2.5 out of 5 because it's not that anything was bad, but there were many things that happened on the show, and I was like, they could have done this in a better way, or this kind of doesn't make sense. They're going in the right direction, but it kind of doesn't make sense. Like, we started the show with, Solo coming into the arena and then Jacob just going wild on them, which was good. But then Jacob just yelling, Yarra mean, and you get in where you fit in. Like, that didn't make sense to me. Like, you just lost your United States Championship. Why are you yelling catchphrases? But that was good, I would say. Even then, you had Jacob and Jay being like, because Nick wanted him to find a partner, then Jacob was just like, you get in where you fit in. Yeah, and then they just like did this. Why didn't Jay say that I told you that you don't have help, like you should get help? This should have been a much more layered segment, but then they just like they're just bros now, which doesn't make sense to me. And like this is the stuff that WWE used to do before. Like, now that Jacob is a babyface now, even in serious scenarios he's just cool with it. Like, when he's talking to Jimmy, he's just like in a good mood. And he still yells his catchphrases, and Jimmy just accepts. Like, why is Jimmy accepting it? Why? It doesn't make sense to me. Why is he accepting it? Okay, you had a reason, but then that got over last week. The real reason should have been they could have done this segment better. First, keep the car segment in. Just have him yell that, I'm gonna, fight you, or I'm gonna kill you, or anything. And then in that Jacob and Jimmy segment, you could have had Jimmy say, I told you so and everything, and Jacob could have been like his usual self, resistant, that I still don't need anyone's help. But then I do have to have help, because otherwise I can't get my hands on Solo tonight, because Nick Aldis told me. And Jimmy can then go and say, the only reason I'm helping you is because they've been attacking me for weeks, and I also want my pound of flesh. And also, that whenever you win that championship back, I want the shot at that title. That way you could set up a lot of things. Like, maybe you could have Solo next week come out and say, you want a title shot, Jimmy? I can give you a title shot. Maybe that way you can set up like a triple threat, show like seeds of discontent between them. When the match was normal, it was nothing special. In the end, Jacob just pinned Solo Sikoa, which was okay. Like, in a way, that is the way that they are gonna set up their rematch, because WWE like selectively, upholds the rematch clause. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. As a whole, it is no more there, but it happens. But this way, they are setting up that match, and this shows me that them having Solo getting just pinned after winning the United States Championship means that their real focus is on getting guys like Talatonga and JC Mateo over through this faction. Because when the promo video package happened, all of them look like badasses. It's just that JC Mateo looked like a badass and also looked like he got shot, or he is constipated or something. And essentially, Solo said that this is no bloodline. I think they heard all like the criticism that the bloodline is there. He said that this is bigger, this is my MFT, this is my family tree, this is my family. So what are they called? They are the family tree. I don't call them that. Only the learning tree comes to my mind. And are they the family now? Like, what is their name? Probably something related to family. And it was essentially like, it has just started, happy 4th of July and everything, and we're gonna dominate, blah 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 blah. So that happened. You had Tangalo there also. And in the end, match ended. Jacob wanted to put through Solo through a table, which was a good thing, because you just shouldn't be happy because you won a tag match because you lost your championship. you should go to greater heights to cause more pain to your opponent. But then, Tangaloa came out and they started attacking. First, uh, Tala Tonga threw Jacob from the top rope into the ring, choke slamming him, which was fine. But I really like the big boot that he gave to Jimmy. I think this is just like Tongaloa's finisher now, that him giving like that swinging neck break or something. He gave it to Jimmy outside, and then they gave like a triple power bomb to Jacob through the announce table, which looked fine, nothing special. But that, I think that is how the next week he's probably not going to be there, and then after Saturday night's main event, where there are like 2 weeks left for building up SummerSlam, you have Jacob there. I do think they will probably have Solo defend his title against Jimmy first, have Solo win that match, and then probably setting up like a singles match at SummerSlam. It's that they can further the storyline if they have like a triple threat at SummerSlam. Otherwise, they cannot, because I don't think you can have Jacob lose to Solo Sikoa twice. I just don't think that can happen. Let's see what they do with it. This was like bare line, like usual bloodline stuff, like except that they actually lost here. Usually the bloodline just causes disqualifications or they win because of distraction. It was fine. And then also you had the Tiffany Stratton choosing her own opponent, which they kind of explained, where Tiffany said that, because EO got the chance. It's just that I don't like the way that this happened. Like Tiffany, like then Jade coming out looking fine and were like, I'm gonna beat you at SummerSlam and everything. First, man, Jade needs to figure out the tempo of her voice when she's giving a promo. You need to realize when you need to emphasize points. You're not talking to me in like you're not my friend. Like you're in an arena. You need to be like a wrestler giving a promo. It's not like, hey Tiffany and everything. Like have some cadence in your voice. You're talking to a person in front of a crowd. But then Tiffany says that, I have a surprise for y'all, and then Trish Stratus comes out, and then she just says that because we teamed up together, I want to give you a shot. This is why I don't like this. Then you had Tiffany, the Rara, the women and everything, which is good. It's just that I don't like this way. At least Io and Rhea had a rivalry, and when they had a promo, it was still like woman to woman, like we are facing for the title. It just feels like Tiffany has Trish Stratus as a friend, and she's like, oh, okay, women's pay per view coming, let's have a match. My mentor and everything. Even that was not properly conveyed because Tiffany is an asshole. And then Trish was like, okay, thank you. What would have been better is you had Tiffany come out and be angry that Nick Aldis, why hasn't Nick Aldis given her the same opportunity? And then you could have had Jade come out and be like, I have won the Queen of the Ring, but you know what? You are bitching and moaning so much. Come on, why don't we fight at Evolution? Why don't we fight at Evolution then? Or something like that, or you can then, or maybe you don't have Jade at all in this segment. Have the Trish Stratus come out and say that, you're begging for a fight that much. Why don't you fight me? You needed my help to go up against Nia and Candice. If I was not there, maybe you wouldn't have made it till WrestleMania as women's champion. So why not you and me have a match at Evolution? Tiffany can be like you have not deserved anything and anything. Tiffany Trish can bring up this point, and then you can have Nick Aldis come out and be like, you know what? Tiffany makes Trish Stratus makes some great points, and you have the women's championship match at Evolution. That way, there are some like enmity between them also. Now you just have like two baby faces going up against who are like, hey, hey, hey. Then backstage you had Jade talking to Jade, I think, not talking to Nicole, is Jade talking to Trish Stratus and everything, congratulating her, and it was like you were just in the ring with her. Why are you talking like You saw her the first time, like you just got to know that you have a match at Evolution. Like that was kind of confirmed where when you were in the ring standing with them. But then Naomi just like pushed Jade Cargill with her briefcase and was like, "You should prepare. You should have proceeded with caution," which was good. And you could see that this was not recorded in front of the SmackDown crowd because they just like added in cheers or boo something. And Jade demanded a match against Naomi, and I thought this would happen like next week or something, but this is happening at Evolution, no holds barred. And this is where I think I see Bianca coming back. I think probably Bianca comes back, costs Naomi the match, Jade Cargill wins, and then after that you could have like friction, like Bianca could say, you know what, Jade, when you win that title, I'm coming after you because if I was not there, you could have beat Naomi, and you could have like the Naomi Bianca feud till SummerSlam where Bianca beats Naomi, but then Naomi cashes in Tiffany versus Jade. That's what's gonna happen. I think that's what it's setting up. Right now, you have kind of like what 5 matches set up already. The sixth would be when Monday they confirm Lyra, Becky, and Bailey. I know Triple H is not gonna do this, but I hope the Julia United States Championship match also gets added. But then you kind of don't have any challenges right now because you had a Julia video package also where she essentially said she knows what the title means and she knows that there will be all competitors, coming towards her, and then she tells them to step closer to her and that she'll show who she is and everything. So it kind of feels like they're going in the same route as they kind of went with Gunther. And I hope that is the thing. You need to have her as champion for at least a year or something. Have her as champion. And you had things with, let's talk how Drew McIntyre returned. And it was a good segment. Cody came out, he got a good little pop. Randy came out, he got a huge pop. And the promo essentially was Randy talking about that uh, he didn't pull the trigger, but he did. Uh, Before that, Cody was like, now that I have left a piece of myself in Columbus and Riyadh because I had to go through Jay and Randy. And Randy was essentially like, promise me, Cody, that you're gonna take the title from John Cena. I, I'm glad at least the crowd booed when John Cena's name was mentioned. And Randy's fired up promos are great. Then you had Drew McIntyre return, and he was essentially like, oh, you hang up, like essentially saying that Cody and Randy are like two lovers and everything. And he was essentially playing up Randy against Cody. And one thing I really liked here is that when Randy hit that RK on Cody, you could have interpreted as he did it because Drew McIntyre is an asshole, but maybe he also hit that RKO on Drew McIntyre because he feels that Drew McIntyre is right. Maybe Cody is playing him up. Maybe he is buttering him up because he did attack his surgically repaired back, which put him out of action for like 9 months. So it it was good. Then it was set up. Then Drew was like to Nick Aldis, I'm not yapping. And it set up as Drew versus Randy at Saturday night's main event. I do think probably next week you had like an Alistair and Damien backstage segment also where it's just that those lines were very cringy, like why do you think that I'm the bad guy or a good guy, why do you think that our truth will be the receiver of violence and everything. I liked Alistair. Damon Priest felt a little bit goofy, but next week Alistair Black was the our truth is happening. I can see Alistair and Damien being set up for Saturday night's main event. I can easily see that, and I can see probably Drew beating Randy Orton and then Drew going after Damien Priest as well, because it doesn't make sense. Why would Drew just forget that Damien concertoed him? And otherwise, what do you have for Drew at SummerSlam? Either you run Drew versus Randy back at SummerSlam, either that, or you have Drew beat Randy Orton and then you have Drew attack Damien Priest, maybe have Aleister Black win because of that, and then going forward what you can have is have Randy and then feud with R-Truth because it makes sense. R-Truth is the reason Randy Orton lost. And then when Randy Orton versus R-Truth is set for SummerSlam, that match is essentially no match. You can have like Randy go crazy like before the match gets stopped like double disqualification or something, and then Randy just punts R-Truth, and that way you can like write off R-Truth off TV, and Randy Orton can be like a beast. Then you're like left wondering whether Randy Orton will turn or Cody or not. So that was it. So next week you're having Aleister Black versus R-Truth. Jade versus Naomi, I think it will be good because it's no holds barred, and Jade is probably gonna win. And apart from that, you had the SmackDown Tag Team division, which I really liked. You had one thing that I don't like is why is Nick Aldis so in favor of Wyatt Six? Like, what does the Wyatt Six bring? Which like Nick Aldis is like kind of like sabotaging the tag team division because as soon as he saw that Andrade and Ray feel like DIY was like, you would also lose to Andrade and Ray Phoenix to Fraxium. He was like, you know what, Fraxium versus Andrade and Ray Phoenix is set up. And the rest of the tag team division, he said that you guys want a piece of the Wyatt Six, so one each of all the teams left will face the Wyatt Six in a match. And I think the match was good. I think match was fine. I'm glad that it got time, and in the end, the Wyatt Six won. They really made Eric Rowan look great in the match, but also the other teams they did not look bad. Like especially like I would say like Montez has so high babyface energy. Like he should be a single star in the future. I hope he is. And even the end, it makes sense that DIY is the one that are like the scared. He is like always making excuses. Like Candace was not even there and everything. We have led the SmackDown Tag Team division. In the end, Johnny got scared because Chris Sabin was actually on top. Like he had got the better of Eric Rowan. He was going in for the tag. You also had like Sabin and Johnny Gargano doing like double team moves, which I think would be like a childhood dream come true for Johnny Gargano. You had little bit of Johnny wrestling chants also, which is wild. And then what happened was Johnny got scared, and then Eric Rowan like hit him with like a clothesline from the back, and then he gave him his finisher, which is the claw slam, which he just grabs the face and it throws you onto the ground, and they won. So that is also said. Street Profits versus Rowan versus the Wyatt Six next week for the WWE Tag Team Championship. I don't think they will repeat the same finish. I don't think they will have the match again and have the same finish of the tag team division just swarming the ring and then doing stuff. I do because I even though it makes sense because why would the tag team division just let Wyatt Six win? I do think what's gonna happen is the Wyatt Six is gonna win, and after that maybe next week because Andrade and Ray Phoenix like defeated Fraxia, maybe they're setting up Andrade and Ray Phoenix to be the first challengers to the Wyatt Six for the WWE Tag Team Championship. And DIY this way Motor City can reignite the real rivalry with DIY also, but the rest of the tag team division is crossed with DIY too because if they would have won this match, the Wyatt Six would not have been in contention for the tag title. So you can set up a lot of things here, different storylines going. Like maybe DIY will cause Street Profits to lose next week because first they are afraid of the Wyatts, but second that maybe they think that because they are doing this they can just go and like demand Wyatt Six to put their titles on the line because it is because of them that they are champions. So you can set up a lot of things. I do think this is probably going to lead to DIY being like beat up and like thrown off SmackDown because I do think whenever the draft happens, probably DIY goes to Raw along with Motor City Machine Guns. I don't think the Motor City Machine Guns are also going to stay on SmackDown. I think they have done all there is to, and I think probably your babyface tag teams on SmackDown are going to be Fraxium, Fraxium, Ray Phoenix, and Andrade, and Street Profits. I think probably the New Day or American Made won't do, but I think probably New Day will get drafted to SmackDown because it makes sense. New Day has history with the Wyatt Six, and they will be like a perfect replacement of the of the asshole behavior of DIY on SmackDown. And the Fraxium versus Ray Phoenix and Andrade was a really good match. I'm really glad that Andrade and Ray Phoenix now will get a chance to be on regular television, and I am really glad that they gave this match time. This was such a great match. You had This Is Awesome chants, but those kind of felt like it was filled in because they just started out of nowhere. But this was a great match. In the end, Andrade got the pin. Andrade has gotten the pin 2 weeks in a row. He pinned Johnny, and this time he pinned. I think it was. I know it was Fraser. I think, yeah, he pinned Fraser. The thing is that Fraxium still has that god awful theme. Please change it. Like, just have, because Def Rebel has made those theme songs of Nathan Fraser and Axiom. Just have the mashup of the two, which you had earlier. And I would say that I'm glad because they finally, Andrade made his return in 2024, and apart from like certain phases, he has not found, the writers have not found a way to have him be on television consistently. And now, them being a tag team, they are in the SmackDown Tag Team Division storyline. They will be from next week. I think they have found a way to keep both Andrade and Ray Phoenix on television and in a meaningful storyline in a division which is probably the best tag division in North America, and having them like just have matches and get over with the crowd. And that is what is happening. Like, Ray Phoenix has a great entrance. He was like hugging people after winning the match, randos. But this is the way that they get over. This is maximizing their strengths and hiding their weaknesses. You don't really need like that much high promo work in the tag division, and you're just having them as hoopers, which is great. I love it. I love it for both. Even though Ray Phoenix is in the tag division, it kind of feels like he's doing the same thing which he did in AEW. But at least he's on television. At least he's relevant. At least he'll get time. I do think whatever happens between the Whites, either they win or the Street Profits retain because of the disqualification, it is leading to a multi-tag, probably ladder match, maybe at the SmackDown before SummerSlam or at SummerSlam. I do think that is what the direction is gonna be for SummerSlam. Let's see what happens there. And apart from that, what did you have else? What else did you have? I think I have talked about whatever relevant happened on SmackDown. I don't think I have much more. Maybe I'll think about. Yeah, that was it. So that was my review. If you like this type of content, like this video, share and subscribe. If you don't, then share it with those two who do. My social media accounts, which are my Twitter/X account and my Instagram account, links are in the description, so go follow me on that. My UPI ID link, which is shareboy@OKICICI, is in the description also, so go donate any amount of money which can help me make YouTube a permanent career option. So that was it for me for right now. So thank you, goodbye, alvida.